Hello, everyone. It is so great to be joined with you tonight as part of the Top Tools for Young Changemakers Masterclass. This is the final masterclass as part of our Next Gen series, which we've been looking at all year round. So thank you so much for joining me this evening, or wherever you are, if you're watching the replay. Hope you've had a wonderful day, wonderful week, whatever you're at right now. Let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so before we like to get started, we always like to do an acknowledgement of country. I'd just like to begin by acknowledging the wisdom of the original innovators and traditional custodians of country throughout Australia. We recognise their continuing connection to land, waters, and communities, and pay our respects to them and their cultures, and to elders both past and present. Now, hi everyone, I'm Maddie from Bop Industries. If I haven't met you before, I am head of programs here at Bop. I've been here for about 3 years. A little bit about me is when I finished high school, I went and did a double degree of business and media and communications, and I later on added a master's of primary school teaching to that list. So I'm really thankful that I get to come and work at Bop, and I kind of merge all those three degrees together, which is really cool. I'm also someone who loves all things mindset and personal development, which is why this specific masterclass is very much so up my alley. I'm someone that I just kind of like to hack all areas of my life. So I'm really excited for this specific masterclass for that reason. Now, the Next Gen Awards are our national awards program. This is the second year that we've been running these awards, and they've been designed to showcase the next generation of top young talent. Now, as of right now, applications have officially closed, and we are actually going to be announcing our finalists at the very end of this video. Now, as part of the Next Gen Awards, we had 6 categories that different people could apply for. This includes our Young Innovator of the Year award, our Young Entrepreneur of the Year, our Young Leader, our Innovative Educator, our Next Gen, and lastly but not least is our Dream Team Award. So stay tuned to the end of this video as I will be announcing those finalists live on this call. Super exciting. We had so many incredible applications came through, and it's going to be a really, really tough one to judge. So stay tuned for the end of this video to see our finalists. Now, in exciting news, our national awards ceremony is coming up super soon on the 16th of October. Now, you actually have got an opportunity to attend this ceremony even if you aren't a finalist or currently connected to the Next Gen Awards. This is a really awesome night for young professionals that get to kind of network and I guess meet other like-minded students. You've got great yummy food. You've got some keynote speakers that are absolutely phenomenal that we've got lined up. So please feel free to come along to our national award ceremony. It will be in the Brisbane CBD, but you can find out more information by scanning that QR code on your screen. Tickets are only $15, so not bad for a night filled with awesome networking, awesome people, awarding our overall winners, and also networking with some like-minded students. So make sure you get your tickets. Now, we want to say a massive thank you to our sponsors of the Next Gen Awards program, because an awards program like this could not be possible without some awesome people contributing to its success. So a massive shout out to Bond University Transformer, the Fogarty Foundation, APL&G, and ConocoPhillips, and of course us at Bop Industries here behind the scenes. We're also going to say a massive thank you to our prize sponsors. So our finalists and our award winners will actually get to receive some really cool prizes, all thanks to these awesome prize sponsors. So thank you to everyone at Adobe, Hex, Bond University, Transformer, and All Kind. We absolutely are obsessed with the prizes we've received so far. So stay tuned to see what our finalists get when they award their winners. All right, so welcome to the masterclass. Now, today's masterclass has been designed to show you a series of our top tools to work smarter, not harder, as you excel to build your own personal brand. So by the end of this masterclass, you will have number 1, identified your personal goals. Number 2, discovered a series of digital tools. And last but not least is decided on which tools to start using. So it's really important before we actually get into the session, either pause this video or make sure you actually have a pen or paper readily available, because you will be writing down some things as we go through this masterclass. So make sure you got a pen and paper handy. You will be writing some things down. So let's dive into it. The Young Professionals Toolkit. Now, the use of digital tools in today's society is inevitable. We always get thrown new digital tools every single day. I'm sure if you're a student watching this right now, you've probably been introduced to a series of digital tools as you've just been at school this year. Different learning tools, different productivity tools, even the emergence of ChatGPT last year has literally taken the world by storm. And now there's all these other new AI apps that are coming out of everywhere. So there's so much out there for us to use, but it's really important to find a couple of different tools that we can really utilize in our everyday lives to make our lives easier. That's all what we're about here. So, how can these tools really help? Now, all the tools I'm going to talk to you about over this masterclass kind of fall into one of these four categories. They either increase productivity, they either enhance collaboration, they create visual content, or they support planning and projects. So they kind of fall into one of these four categories, but they can help in a lot of different ways. But again, it comes back to how can we work smarter, not necessarily harder. So, before we even dive into these tools, we need to have a kind of a clear vision on what we're hoping to achieve from this masterclass. So, what I want you to do right now is with your pen and paper or with your laptop, I actually want you to think about in your current life or maybe in the next 6 months, what are your current goals? Now, these can be personal, they can be academic, they could be something in relation to if you're a young entrepreneur and starting a business, it could be something that you're hoping to achieve over the next year, it could be something within leadership, whatever it is. I'm sure we all have 3 goals that we're trying to work towards right now. So, for example, you can see on the screen, I've got I want to get good grades in my subjects. I want to learn how to manage my time better. Or third, I want to start a side hustle and I want to make money. So right now, I want you to write and think about what are your top 3 goals over the next foreseeable future, so 6 to 12 months. And then I want you to write a I hope to statement. So just generally, what are you hoping to get out of this masterclass? Is it I hope to learn about cool new tools I can learn in my everyday life, or I'm hoping to learn about tools to better advance me as a young professional? What are you hoping to get out of this masterclass? One of my top hacks, again, a hack, one of my top hacks for literally in life is this quote: if you don't know where you're going, you're probably lost. So it's really important to set a clear vision for what you hope to get out of this workshop, because that way you'll be able to spot clues and hints and little nuggets a lot easier knowing what those goals are. So you guys have around 5 minutes to write these down, and then I would come and join you back on here for our next little. Alrighty, guys, we are going to pause there. And remember, you can always pause this video if you want to keep going and writing these down. Like I said, really important to get some ideas down on what you're hoping to get out of this workshop, because I'm going to throw at you a whole lot of tools. So really important that you've written those down before we move on. Okie dokie, let's get into it. So, our first little segment is all around productivity and planning tools. Now, with our days and lives right now, I'm sure all of you watching this can understand that we're all very busy humans. We're all juggling a lot of different things. If you're a student, you're probably juggling not only your schoolwork, if you have any extracurriculars, if you've got your own personal lives, you've got friends, you've got sports, you've got instruments. There are so many different things to juggle, let alone if you're someone that's hoping to maybe become a young entrepreneur or become a leader or join a club and you have to plan certain things. So these kinds of tools can really help us out no matter where you are and what you're hoping to get out of these tools. You can honestly use them for so many different things. So let's get into our top productivity and planning tools. Now, the very first one I'm going to talk about is Notion, because Notion is one of my favorite tools to use. I use Notion all the time at work. So with us at BOP, we use Notion all the time. It literally has all the most important information for us that we need to know when it comes to building out programs, building out resources, taking meeting notes as a team, writing what we need to do down and keeping track of our task list and things like that as well. So Notion is a really great platform to kind of keep all of this together. And the reason why it's really popular is because it's also a very visually appealing app that is also extremely customizable. So you can really use things like emojis. You can also use things like banners and stuff like that to really personalize the app to make it very much feel like your own. So Notion is really great for keeping track of the tasks you need to do. It's really good for taking notes for things. It's a great collaborative tool, so you can have multiple people on it as well. And it's also a great free tool as well. So it's a very low barrier cost to entry, which is why we really love it. You can access it by either downloading the app to your computer or actually just having it on a web browser, which means that you can access it kind of from anywhere in the world, which is a really great advantage. But we love Notion. I literally use Notion every day, and you can use it for both personal life and as well your work and professional life as well. The next one is Google Calendar. Now, usually with everyone with a digital calendar kind of has their preference. I know some people use Apple Calendar. Some people might use like a Microsoft Calendar if they use Teams. We love Google Calendar, and specifically even just Google Drive and the Google Home Suite in general. Now, what you actually can see on the screen is a little snapshot of my Google Calendar, because I have personalized it. I've like added my own colors in and everything, so it looks really visually appealing. And what you can actually see on that calendar is different people in my team's schedule. So it's a great way for me to actually look at our week and see what everyone is doing throughout that week. Now, you could also change this up in a little bit of a different way and use it for time management and for planning. So, for example, you could create different calendars that represent, for example, your sports calendar, your school calendar, an assignment calendar, things like this. But ultimately, this is a really great way to really time block your days and really think about, okay, what have I got coming up? And how can I allocate time to that in the coming weeks? I think a visual representation is a really great way to make sure that you stay on task with certain things. I know that for myself, if I've got a project that I have to build or plan coming up in the next few weeks, that I will specifically go to this calendar and I will block out about 3 to 4 hours, no matter, depends on how long obviously it will take, but I will specifically put that time in my calendar so that I know that when I get to that point in the year, that is when I'm working on that project and I've given it that amount of time. So I love Google Calendar. It's super easily accessible. It's really collaborative. You can have multiple people on it, but it's really easy to access. It's just through a web browser on Google Calendar, which is great. Another one is Asana. Now, Asana I've actually used in previous jobs when I am working with a small team on similar or the same projects. So when, for example, you have maybe a school assignment, like a group assignment, or you might be a young entrepreneur and you have like a team with you, Asana is a great way to kind of manage different projects and really understand what are the smaller tasks involved in each of those projects. And within this, you can also see how every member of your team is going with specific projects. So usually, let's say that the old school way is having a group assignment and writing down, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this on a piece of paper. Obviously, when it comes to a piece of paper, we can't guarantee that piece of paper isn't going to end up in the bin or something like that. So what is the digital version of writing that down? That is basically what Asana is. It says what everyone needs to do at certain points, gives you deadlines for everything as well, and kind of makes it easier to see it at an overview glance of what everyone is doing. So this is really great for group work or just general project work to break tasks down a little bit easier as well. Now, I have a couple of noteworthy mentions here because when it comes to productivity and planning, I think these are certain things that I use every single day. But two notable mentions that I really want you guys to look into. Number one, and you've probably heard of her, is Lo-Fi Girl. Now, Lo-Fi Girl is just on YouTube and it is a constant loop. So it's a live YouTube channel that constantly has lo-fi music playing in the background. Lo-fi music is actually known to help us focus on things a little bit easier. If you've heard of what like white noise is or anything like that, it basically just allows us to have almost like a bit of a background music in our head, which allows us to focus on tasks a little bit easier. So for example, it's kind of comparing working with no music at all. Obviously, working with music with lyrics can be really confusing sometimes because you're trying to process too many words in your head. But Lo-Fi Girl is that perfect in between where you can kind of put her on in the background and kind of work away, and it's a nice background type of noise. The next one is the Pomodoro technique. If you are a student studying for exams or writing assignments and you find that your attention levels start to decimate and you tend to get really distracted really easily. You want to check your phone, those types of things. Highly recommend checking out the Pomodoro technique. Basically, it is a technique, you can look it up on YouTube. There's videos on YouTube that will have the timers inbuilt in those videos for you. Essentially, it is 4 working blocks. Those 4 working blocks, they're either 20 or 25 minutes. I think they are 25 minutes. 25 minutes of working time and then a 5-minute break 4 times. Once you repeat that 4 times, you then do a 30-minute break. Now, basically what this does is obviously we can also only stay focused for a certain level of time. We're all very different in how long we can stay focused for. But it basically tells you, look, you've got 25 minutes of hard focusing, and then you've got 5 minutes of relaxing, chilling out, and doing something else before coming back for another 25 minutes of working time. Now, when you look at this in the grand scheme of things, that's like 2 hours of working time and only 20 minutes of breaks, which is not bad at all, but 2 hours of good working time. So highly recommend checking out the Pomodoro technique, putting it on YouTube, Googling it as well. There will be heaps of timers online. Highly recommend it. All right, so now we're going to pause a little bit on those productivity and planning tools and kind of have a think about which of these tools would you use? So I want you to think and look back at those goals you wrote down at the very beginning of this session and think about, okay, now that I understand what goals I'm working towards, which of these apps or softwares do I see myself maybe using to help streamline or to make those a little bit easier? I'm going to give you around 2 minutes now to kind of think about what those tools are that you wanted to write down before writing down a couple of dot points on how you would use that tool. Because you want to be able to look back on your notes and very much so see, you've got, okay, yeah, I want to use Notion because it's really aesthetic and customizable and I can input all my information into that tool. So make sure you write down what the platform is called, and then I want you to write down how you plan to use it, just so future you can come back to it and understand what you were trying to mean. All right, I'll give you 2 minutes to write those down, guys. Alrighty, guys, we are going to pause there and move on to our next little segment, which is creativity and innovation tools. Now, obviously, in this current climate right now, a lot of us have to juggle between being very academic and very practical, but also quite creative and innovative. And that really requires us to unlock a special part of our brain to be creative, to think about those types of innovative ideas. Now, for some of us, that doesn't come as naturally as it does to others, which is where these types of creativity and innovation tools come into play. It's to make our lives easier when it comes to those creativity types of work environments or those projects. So let's get into these tools. So the first one I'm going to talk about, which some of you would have probably have used before, is DALL-E. So it's DALL-E dash E, however you want to say it. So DALL-E is actually a generative AI model that was that was developed by the same guys that came up with ChatGPT. So DALL-E is ultimately ChatGPT, but for visuals. So you can basically type in a certain prompt. So you can see on the right-hand side of my screen, the types of prompts that people have put in to produce that type of image. So for example, a 3D render of an astronaut walking in a green desert was what someone put in. And that's the image that AI generated. You can see the one below it was a synthwave sports car. So quite like a cool graphic, like very futuristic. That was what it wanted. And then I love the last one, which is a photo of a teddy bear on a skateboard in Times Square. So as you can see, there are kind of endless options with DALL-E, and it is a really great tool. The only thing I will say about this generative model is that it's currently a cost involved with it. It's not a big cost, it's quite low cost. However, you probably will have to pay a little bit to access it. However, if you are generating a lot of different images for a specific project, this is well worth the cost. So definitely look into it. The next one, and one of our favorites, is TinkerCad. Now, TinkerCad is a user-friendly web-based application for 3D computer-aided design. That's what CAD actually stands for. And it's ultimately all for 3D modeling. So if you're someone that wants to be maybe an entrepreneur in the future, or you have a design class where you have to come up with a prototype, this is a great way, and it's a really easy way to design a 3D model. A thing that we also love about TinkerCad is you can actually link it up to a 3D printer and print whatever you had created on TinkerCad in real life on a 3D printer, which we think is really cool. It also comes with just really easy to edit templates, really easy to edit little objects and things like that. So it's extremely user-friendly. Tongue twister. It's extremely user-friendly, so highly recommend checking out TinkerCad as well. It's one of our favorite tools to use for creating prototypes and imagining how things would look like in the real world. Now, a fan favorite, I can't talk about creativity and innovation without talking about Canva. Canva is incredible. We use Canva for quite literally everything. We do it for logo designs, banner designs, flyers, presentations. It honestly has it all. And Canva is also a company and an organization that keeps getting bigger and better. They have a massive innovation team that are constantly working on building in the internal systems in Canva. There's always new tools. Every single time I check the platform, they've created something new. For example, they've currently got Canva Magic AI, which is their AI writing tool, which is phenomenal. So even in writing documents, you can utilize Magic AI to really improve your writing in that sense as well. So honestly, Canva is a great thing for creating those visual representations, but because the app is constantly evolving, there are so many awesome internal tools that you can see on Canva. So definitely check it out and make sure you have a browse around the platform. All right. Last but not least is the Miro. Now, Miro is a Miro board is what we call it. But Miro is ultimately, imagine that you have to whiteboard something. So usually when we work for us, for example, we do a lot of big projects where we have to all go into a big room that has a whiteboard in it, and we do a whiteboarding session, which basically is like brainstorming a whole bunch of other things on a whiteboard. And you might have done this as well, maybe if you've been brainstorming for a team or brainstorming for a business, something like that. But we all know what a whiteboarding session is, when you write things all over the whiteboard to brainstorm a certain idea or certain ways of doing things. This is the digital version of a whiteboard. It ultimately is a place that you can put multiple people on it, so collaborative tools, so different people can use it. And ultimately, what it's for is brainstorming and generating a whole bunch of ideas in that kind of whiteboard layout. So, as you can see on the screen, this is an example of how a team has used it in the past. They've kind of used like sticky notes, they've used pie charts, that kind of thing. It's a really great tool to ultimately brain dump a lot of different things and have a lot of different people brainstorming ideas. So, for example, you could use it with a team if you all have a laptop in front of you and you're doing a little bit of a whiteboarding session. Rather than use a whiteboard, maybe you don't have access to one, maybe you don't have enough texters in the room, jump on something like Miro and you can brainstorm those ideas. Plus, it saves on your computer. So you can easily come back to that brainstorm and have a think about, okay, what did we work on? What did we come up with? So Miro is a great tool for that. All right, I'm going to do another pressing pause on this again, guys. I'm only going to give you a couple minutes. Remember, you're always welcome to press pause on this video and actually have a look at what these tools are and learn more about them if you would like to. But again, I want you to reflect on what were those original goals that we came up with at the beginning of the session, and do any of them relate to specifically creativity or creating something? Because which of these tools would you use and why would you use these tools? Then once you've written down what tools you would like to use, I want you to think about how do you plan to use it. Remember, it's all about, once we come back to this session, looking back on those notes and thinking about, oh yeah, I said I was going to use Canva because I think it'll help me come up with social media graphics for my business. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to have a think about which of these tools you think you would use and why do you think they would help you. Alrighty, guys, we are going to move on to our next set of tools. So the next one are our writing and editing tools, because it's, as an aspiring young professional, it's really important that basically any work you produce It is very professional, it's grammatically correct, and it really conveys your ideas clearly. Now, I don't know about you, I don't know if you are a great writer already or if you're someone that is still learning to become a great writer. I know that I'm someone that I've always struggled with being a fantastic writer. Whenever I utilize tools, I'm always better than what I would be naturally. So I love utilizing these tools to really improve my writing because it's not something that comes naturally to me. However, I really need to urge you all to understand this is a massive disclaimer that the use of these tools are prohibited to use for school or university assignments, mainly also because these tools will appear within plagiarism checkers. For example, if your school uses Turnitin or another platform, they have actually figured out how to understand if you've used AI to generate these types of things. So yes, I'm talking about it, but I'm talking about it in the context of writing a blog post, building a website, writing product descriptions, improving your presentation. So these are not to help you get better grades, because unfortunately, if you do use these, your skill will find out. And if you get used to doing it at school, if you're like, nah, my school hasn't figured it out yet, university will. So make sure that you're very careful with using these tools and utilize them to your advantage to learn from them, but not copy and paste directly from them. So massive disclaimer there. Universities are extremely strict on this. So don't get used to it in school if you manage to use it in school. All right. One of the very first ones, and personally, Quillbot has helped me so much. It is one of the best tools for understanding your writing, and one of the main reasons I use it is paraphrasing. So ultimately, Quillbot is an AI-powered paraphrasing tool, and it's designed to help users rewrite or paraphrase sentences and paragraphs while maintaining the original meaning. So the Quillbot also has a bunch of other tools that you can also look at as well. For example, it has actually a plagiarism checker, and it also has a summarizer. So to give you a context of how I have used this in the past, when I've had to read really big and lengthy, let's say, scientific journals for university. So I've had to look into the university library, and I've had to read this journal to understand certain things. I have been able to copy and paste all of that text into something like the summarizer on here, and it's basically able to extract the key points from that text. So ultimately saves me time from reading the entire journal. I can quickly extrapolate what the key ideas are in that journal, and it speeds up the whole process of me understanding if that journal is even worth me reading in the first place. So I love the summarizer tool. It's also a great tool to use for paraphrasing. So as many of you know, if you're a student and you ever have to quote or research or justify certain things by using something you found on the internet or in a book or something, basically what you can do is you can copy that specific, let's say you're trying to quote something or you're trying to reference something, you can actually copy whatever that is in that textbook or that web address, and you can put it into something like Quillbot, which will paraphrase it for you. And then if you slightly tweak it, it just speeds up that process of having to reference certain things that you've found online and things like that. So it's a great paraphrasing tool. I also use it when I feel like I can't find a really smart way to say something. So if in my head, I'm like, I really want to say XYZ, but I can't say it like that because that's almost like the dummy way of saying it. I need to say it in like a professional way. Then I will write the less smart version basically into the Quillbot, and it will turn my words into something that makes me sound a lot smarter. So that's where I like it. Again, I like it when I can't figure out how to actually put certain words together to make it sound professional, depending on who the email or someone is going to. So if you're basically wanting to improve your professionalism, specifically, I would say within things like emails, maybe on like LinkedIn posts or social media posts for your business or something like that, this is a great way of using your own words and paraphrasing your own words to improve those words as well. So Quillbot is a great tool for that. The next one is Grammarly. Now, Grammarly is a widely used writing assistant tool that helps users improve their writing by identifying and correcting grammar, spelling, punctuation, and style issues. Because Grammarly has a free version and a paid version, I think the free version is honestly completely fine to use. I think grammar is something that's a very tricky one. I feel like it's something that you learn a lot when you're in primary school, and once you're in high school, we don't really get taught a whole lot about grammar besides some sort of standardized test or something like that. But Grammarly is really great. Now, the reason I actually am saying Grammarly on here as well is I actually use the extension on Google Chrome, so that way I'm not actually ever going to the Grammarly website and inputting my text. I'm actually just using the extension tool, and it blips up and it automatically corrects anything I'm writing. So that's how I kind of hack grammar, is I have the tool already downloaded on my computer, and it's able to basically pick up on any sort of text I'm using whilst I'm on the internet. So definitely check out grammar to just make sure everything's grammatically correct. Copy AI. Now, I'm talking about copy AI. This is for mainly people that want to become entrepreneurs and are wondering on how to write something specifically for a product or a service. And that could mean all types of things. That means a product description, something on your website, SEO, SEM, all those types of things. Ultimately, Copy AI is a platform that utilizes artificial intelligence to assist users in generating various types of written content. So it's specifically very business focused. So rather than obviously, for example, ChatGPT, which is kind of everything and talks about every single written thing you could possibly want to know, Copy AI is specifically for business use. So already built into its algorithms are very business inclined. So if you are a business user and you have to try and figure out so many different ways to write certain things for certain products, or in different modes, in different elements, for example, LinkedIn versus Facebook versus Instagram versus TikTok, they all require a different way of writing something. So this is a really easy way to streamline that by quickly going to Copy AI and basically just telling it about your product and what you're hoping to achieve. So definitely check out Copy AI if you are a business owner or a future entrepreneur. Now, one of the last ones I'm going to talk about is Google Docs. So you'll see now I've talked about Google Calendar, and now I'm going to talk about Google Docs. The whole G Suite, like I said, is fantastic because it's all integrated together. But Google Docs, the main thing I love about Google Docs is not only is it a web browser application, it basically means it auto saves all your writing. So for example, if you are someone that is currently writing an assignment, especially if you're writing an assignment with a group, it enables every single person to actually edit in real time on that document. But it also, if you're a student and you're not in a group setting and you just want to use it for writing an assignment, what I love about this is that it auto saves everything, which I understand you can turn on your computer as well. But this just means that no matter where you are in the world, if your computer was to die, you would still be able to access your assignment on Google Docs, and you can utilize all those inbuilt tools. For example, like Grammarly and stuff like that. You can utilize those because they're inbuilt into your server. So you can utilize Google Docs, Grammarly, all that at the same time because you're utilizing it on a web browser. So it's great for group collaboration. Highly recommend it for future uni assignments or when you're in school and you're doing a group assignment, and also highly recommend it if you don't always have access to your computer or you just want peace of mind knowing that your assignment is going to be okay. We love it. It's a great, great tool. Alrighty, guys, we are going to give you another couple of minutes to think about all those tools I just spoke about. So Grammarly, Google Docs, Quillbot, and Copy AI. And I want you to remember to think about what were those goals you wrote down at the very start of the session. And how do you think you could utilize some of these tools to help you with those goals? I'm going to give you 2 minutes again to look into this, and we'll get into our final top tools for young change makers. Alrighty, guys, we are going to dive into our final set of tools for young change makers before we announce our finalists for the next Gen Award. So, in our final little segment for these top tools, I'm going to be talking about digital profiles. Now, for some of you, you might be thinking like, oh, that's LinkedIn, that's TikTok, the two that you can see on that. That could be Instagram, it could be Facebook, but there are actually a lot of other digital profiles I would highly, highly recommend checking out that you may not have heard of before. So let's dive straight into it. Now, the very first digital profile I'm going to be talking about is LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, I think, has a minimum age of, I believe it's 14 or 15. You have to double check that. But it is a great, great platform for professional networking. How I try and always explain it to students is it's very different from, let's say, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, where it has the understanding that you should never add anyone you don't know. LinkedIn goes against all of that. You should add as many people as you can on LinkedIn, regardless if you know them or not. The thing about LinkedIn, though, is that it's not sharing of personal information. It's only sharing of professional information. So it's sharing all the achievements you've made in your business so far. It's sharing thought leadership things that people are talking about within the space. It's a really important platform for people that are trying to, I guess, grow their network professionally and create a name for themselves. I cannot tell you the amount of events I've gone to where I know that I have certain people on LinkedIn, but I've never met them in real life, and I get to connect with them at events, and we already know a really good understanding of who we are and what we're doing because we see each other on LinkedIn in that professional environment, but we might not have met before in person. So it's a great way to just simply get your name out there. You never know what you're going to come across on LinkedIn, because this is definitely where all the young professionals and just generally all the professionals and all the important people are hanging out when it comes to the business world. The next one is Medium. Now, Medium is an online publishing platform that allows individuals to share and discover articles, essays, stories from various topics. The reason I put Medium on here is that it is a great tool for basically if you are someone that enjoys writing in any sort of capacity, whether that be things that are topical to what's happening in the world right now, maybe creative stories, short stories, poems, that kind of thing. Medium is a online publishing tool ultimately where people can just share and follow and read each other's work that are just freelancers, that are just writing because they love writing, they love talking about certain things. I specifically had to do an assignment for this when I was studying media and communications within the journalism. What am I saying? You know what I mean? Within that kind of industry. So Medium was really, really great for this kind of thing, because if you are someone that wants to voice your opinion on something, or you just want to get your work out there, it starts creating a bit of a portfolio of work that you're able to share maybe with future employers if you're hoping to go into some sort of writing capacity or some sort of thought leadership capacity as well. Now, Fiverr is a fantastic tool. I cannot speak more highly of Fiverr. I have both used Fiverr for my own things that I've had to pay someone to do, and I've also been a provider on Fiverr as well. Ultimately, so Fiverr is an online freelance marketplace that connects businesses and individuals with a diverse range of freelance professionals offering services. So, for example, say that you are someone that knows how to build websites. You can put up something on Fiverr saying that I can build a website for you, and then people will be able to reach out to you and they will be able to ultimately work with you, and you can build your website for them, their website for them, and actually earn some money from it. Now, when it comes to basically digital tools, think about every single tool or every single skill that you can use by just being on your computer. This is how you can make money, by being anywhere in the world and taking on these gigs, which in other words are jobs. So for example, you can think about things with writing, programming, marketing, design, graphic design. All those types of things are the types of skills and the types of gigs that you can utilize on Fiverr. So how do you use this platform? So you can use it in one or two ways, just like what I was saying at the very beginning. You can either use it for one, hiring someone, which honestly quite low cost in comparison to like big agencies who charge a premium for a lot of their offerings. Number one, you can hire someone to do basic things for you in terms of like, can you help me build this website? Can you help me build a logo? Can you help me edit this video? You can pay someone a low cost amount of money to help you with your business or whatever you're hoping to achieve on that. Or you can actually be someone that promotes yourself as a freelance supplier. So you can be someone that's like, hey, I'm really good at graphic design, so I can actually work on here and earn some extra pocket money. I'm really good at editing videos. I can potentially put that gig on here and say that I'm happy to help that with. So those are the types of ways you can use Fiverr. I would highly, highly recommend checking it out if you were someone that's really got a great professional skill set in some sort of digital capacity. And last but not least is TikTok. Now, TikTok is that dynamic social media platform where young professionals can showcase their unique talents, skills, and personalities through short and engaging videos. The reason I have TikTok on here is because TikTok is currently in a point in its development where it's very easy to go viral. And so if you are someone that has a small business and you are hoping to go viral, you are hoping to potentially get a influx of customers, TikTok is the social media platform to be on. Not Instagram, not Snapchat, not Facebook. Of course, give those guys a little bit of time, but don't give them all your time. TikTok is where it is at. To quickly explain this to you, the TikTok algorithm, so basically how you see videos on your TikTok platform, is currently working in almost like a domino triangle effect. So what happens is you post a video, say this is the video that you post. What TikTok will automatically do with that video is it will send it out to, let's say, 10 accounts. Now, out of those 10 accounts, let's say that 7 of them watch it, right? If 7 of them watch it, so I'm going to put down, we've got 8, 7 of them watch them. The TikTok algorithm is like, wow, we had, wait, did I say 7? 7 of them watch them. The TikTok algorithm is like, oh my goodness, we had 7 people watch that video, so let's push it out. And it keeps pushing out more and more to more and more people. That's ultimately how TikTok works, and how people have been able to go viral overnight is because they're able to hook their audience in with one video. They're able to watch that whole video through, and then it gets sent out to more and more people. So definitely check out TikTok if you're hoping to go viral in some sort of capacity and really get your name out there. Make sure you check with your parent or guardian that you are allowed to go on TikTok, because I believe the minimum age for this is 15. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to give you 2 minutes now to think about how you would use these tools. I want you to even pause this video and go and explore those tools, or I want you going back to your original goals and thinking about, okay, can I use any of these digital profiles to advance me in some sort of way in accordance with those goals that we wrote down? I'll give you guys 2 minutes, and then we are announcing our finalists. Okie dokie, we are about to announce our finalists. I hope you guys are able to think about what those tools were that you're able to utilize. And I hope you've enjoyed this masterclass. So that's a wrap on the masterclass. I hope you've enjoyed learning about these top tools. Our inbox is always open if you're interested in learning a little bit more about these digital tools. But hopefully now you've got a couple of new ones in your toolkit that you can start thinking about how you might use them for all your different goals that you might have, whether that's personal, academics, business, leadership, whatever that might be. But we have now got a very exciting time to announce our 2024 finalists, which is super exciting. Alrighty, now before we get into this, I just want to say a massive congratulations to every single one of you that put in an application for the Next Gen Awards. It honestly was not an easy decision to come up with these finalists. It was very, very difficult. And so a massive congratulations, just honestly, for anyone that put in an application on it. Your work ethic and everything you put into that application does not go unnoticed. So let me introduce to you our 2024 finalists. So first up, we have our Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award finalists, and this will be going to Neil, Julian, and Ashutosh. So congratulations, boys. You are our award finalists for the Young Entrepreneur of the Year. We hope that you can all make it to our awards ceremony in October. But we are so excited to welcome you to that stage, hopefully, and we can't wait to see who takes home the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. So congratulations, boys. Next up, our Young Innovator of the Year Award finalists. We have got Kit, Ishu, and Ashutosh again. Ashutosh back at it again. Very awesome idea. Congratulations to these young professionals for making the Young Innovator of the Year Award finalists. Some incredible innovative ideas have come out of this section, and we hope that you guys can join us in October at our award ceremony. Next up, our Young Leader of the Year Award finalists. We have Aaron, Rebecca, and Aroe. So congratulations to all of you for making the top award. Young Leader is always an extremely competitive category in the Next Gen Awards. So really excited to meet all of you guys in person. Congratulations for making the finalists. Next up, our Next Gen of the Year. So our Next Gen of the Year award finalists go to Gideon, Tafaza, Mia, and Mia. Congratulations, guys. I'm really sorry if I say any names wrong. Congratulations on being the Next Gen of the Year award finalists. Again, another very, very tough category to judge because our Next Gen of the Year award is really going to an all-rounder. So it's a very open type of application. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to write an incredible application, and we hope to see you in October. And next up, we have our Dream Team of the Year award finalists. So we've actually narrowed this down to two specific fantastic teams. We've got Team Canary and also Quilted Quest. So congratulations to these teams for coming in on the award finalists. We are excited to see you guys in October and can't wait to see who comes out on top. And last and definitely not least are our Innovative Educator of the Year award finalists. And we have Joshua, Rob, and Justin, who have ultimately taken the top 3 places. The Innovative Educator of the Year is, again, one of the toughest categories because you've got all these amazing educators that, number one, are very well spoken, very well written. It's incredibly hard to judge. So Innovative Educator of the Year, well done to these amazing men on the screen right now. We can't wait to see you in October to see who takes home that number 1 spot. And that is a wrap for me, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to me babble on about some of my top tools for young change makers. Remember that our National Award Ceremony is now open to purchase tickets for, so make sure that you grab a ticket to that, you come along and we see you in person so that we can celebrate our overall award winners and our finalists as well. Alrighty, guys, have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you very soon.